Hello students, my name is Dr. Shaheen Ahmed. Welcome to the chemistry classes. Today I am going to teach you class 12 chemistry chapter electrochemistry. Topic called Roche law, Faraday's law and electrolytic cell. So let us understand. Dear students, I hope all of you have seen my previous video. And in that previous video I have explained you the simple concepts and definitions of this chapter, that is electrochemistry. And finally we had finished our previous session, and in that finally at the last I explained you that how the value of the conductance, conductivity, molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity changes on dilution. It means, suppose I am taking one solute and one solvent, and that solute is electrolyte, and that electrolyte we are dissolving in the solvent like water, and we dilute the solution. As we dilute the solution, what happens about the conductance, what happens about the conductivity, and what happens about the molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity. So in that I have explained you the value of the conductance increases on dilution, the value of the conductivity decreases on dilution, and the value of the molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity also increase on dilution. On dilution means decreasing concentration. When we add more and more solvent or water in the solution, it means we say that we are diluting the solution, or we can say we are decreasing the concentration. Now today we are starting our session, and we are going to study the variation of only one quantity, that is molar conductivity, and we will study how it changes on dilution. But here we are studying the two cases, case of strong electrolyte and case of weak electrolyte. So we will study how the molar conductivity changes on dilution in case of strong electrolyte and in case of weak electrolyte. So strong electrolytes are those electrolytes which give a lot of ions in the solution, and the weak electrolyte is that electrolyte which produce less ions in the solution. So I am trying to explain you with the help of these graphs. The first graph, that is related to the strong electrolyte, and I have taken the strong electrolyte here, KCl. Just like NaCl, KCl is also strong electrolyte. When we dissolve a strong electrolyte in the water, then there is a property of the strong electrolyte that at once it dissociate and produce a lot of ions in the solution, and the maximum number of ions are produced in the solution, and in that case, in the starting only, it shows the maximum value of the molar conductivity. See, this is the molar conductivity, this is the graph. One side I am taking the molar conductivity, and the other side I am taking the square root of concentration. If this side we go, it means we are increasing the concentration, and if this side we go, it means we are decreasing the concentration, or we are diluting the solution. So what we are studying, that is what happens about the molar conductivity on dilution. So on dilution means we are moving this side to this side. Again listen, if this side to this side we move, we are increasing the concentration. When this side to this side we move, we will decrease the concentration, or we will dilute the solution. So here what we have to do, we are diluting the solution, and we will study that on dilution how the value of molar conductivity changes in case of strong electrolyte. So this is the strong electrolyte, and see how it changes. In the starting only, it gives the maximum value of the molar conductivity because a lot of ions have been produced. Now what we have to do, we have to dilute the solution. जब solution को dilute करते हैं, तो उसके बाद थोड़ा सा little change होता है molar conductivity में, because in the starting only the maximum number of ions have been produced in the solution, और शुरू में ही जो molar conductivity की value है that shows maximum. लेकिन इसके बाद जब हम इसको dilute करेंगे, तो in the starting molar conductivity value is here at this point. Now we are diluting the solution, and we are decreasing the concentration, तो हम लोग इधर से इधर मूव करेंगे. When we move from this side to this side, there is only slight change in this molar conductivity on dilution in case of strong electrolyte. फिर से सुन लीजिए, ये आपका मोलर कंडक्टिविटी है. दिस इज द स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ कंसंट्रेशन. हमको कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ाना नहीं है, हमको कंसंट्रेशन डिक्रीज करना है, तो हमको इधर से इधर आना है. हमने शुरू में स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट लिया and we dissolve in the water. At once it produces a lot of ions in the solution, and in that case it shows the maximum value of the molar conductivity in the starting only, and afterwards when we dilute the solution, थोड़े बहुत जो भी ions बचे हैं they also dissociate, और थोड़ा सा slight change होता है molar conductivity में from here to here, और ऐसे में 100% dissociation की possibility हो जाती है. Since it is the strong electrolyte, so a time comes when 100% dissociation completes, और उस वक्त जो molar conductivity show होगी that is called limiting molar conductivity or molar conductivity at infinite dilution. और ये जो molar conductivity at infinite dilution है, इसको कैलकुलेट भी किया जाता है by the extrapolation of the graph. यहाँ तक तो ग्राफ आपको दिख रहा है, इसके बाद का ग्राफ एक इमेजिनरी ग्राफ होता है कि अल्टीमेटली एक टाइम कम्स व्हेन वी कैन कैलकुलेट द लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी. मतलब एक टाइम ऐसा आएगा जब 100% डिसोसिएशन हो जाएगा, और उसके बाद में हम मैक्सिमम वैल्यू ऑफ द मोलर कंडक्टिविटी इन द सोल्यूशन वी कैन कैलकुलेट. और वो मैक्सिमम मोलर कंडक्टिविटी जो 100% डिसोसिएशन के बाद आती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी और मोलर कंडक्टिविटी एट इनफाइनाइट डाइल्यूशन. और एक साइंटिस्ट थे, देयर वाज अ नेम ऑफ द साइंटिस्ट, दैट इज खोलरूश. What did he say? He said we can calculate also the limiting molar conductivity of a strong electrolyte. How? By knowing the individual limiting molar conductivity of an ionic compound. जैसे KCl is the ionic compound. इसमें अगर हमें K plus और Cl minus की individual limiting molar conductivity पता हो, then we can calculate the limiting molar conductivity of a solution. तो इसके लिए जो खोलरूश ने आइडिया बताया था, दैट वी आर गोइंग टू सी हियर. खोलरूश ही सेड इफ द कंपाउंड इज स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल Al2SO4 होल थ्राइस एल्युमिनियम सल्फेट, दिस इज द स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट, और हमको इसकी लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी फाइंड करना है, एंड दैट इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय लैम्डा m इंफिनिटी. दिस इज कॉल्ड लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी और मोलर कंडक्टिविटी एट इनफाइनाइट डाइल्यूशन. मतलब एक वो टाइम आता है जब 100% डिसोसिएशन कंप्लीट हो जाता है, और उसके बाद जो मैक्सिमम वैल्यू ऑफ द मोलर कंडक्टिविटी होती है किसी भी सोल्यूशन की, वो हमारी कहलाएगी मोलर कंडक्टिविटी एट इनफाइनाइट डाइल्यूशन. और एल्युमिनियम सल्फेट की हमको निकालना है, तो क्या करेंगे, इसके लिए एल्युमिनियम और सल्फेट की जो इंडिविजुअल लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी है वो हमको पता होना चाहिए. दैट आइडिया वाज गिवन बाय खोलरूश. और हर आयन की जो लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी होती है, दैट विल बी गिवन टू यू इन द एग्जाम. Only you have to add these values. जैसे if aluminum sulfate, that will be asked to you in the exam, you will calculate the limiting molar conductivity of this ion, so you must know the limiting molar conductivity of the aluminum ion as well as the limiting molar conductivity of the sulfate ion, and that will be given to you in the exam. In your NCERT book one table is given, और उसमें जो भी normally used ions होते हैं उनकी limiting molar conductivity value that is given in NCERT. But in the exam if question will come, then the values will be given to you. जो एल्युमिनियम की मोलर कंडक्टिविटी we will put here, multiply by number of ion, that is 2. So 2 into limiting molar conductivity of the aluminum ion plus 3 into limiting molar conductivity of the sulfate ion. So like this we can calculate the limiting molar conductivity of a strong electrolyte. One numerical, this type of numerical is also given in your NCERT. I am going to show you. See, this is the example number 7 in your NCERT book. Calculate the limiting molar conductivity for calcium chloride and magnesium sulfate from the data given in the table 3.4. So let me show the table also, so you can get an idea how the values will be given to you. See, this is the table, and here H plus ion, the limiting molar conductivity is given, Na plus it is given, K plus it is given, calcium plus 2, magnesium plus 2, OH minus ion, Cl minus ion, Br minus ion, CH3CO minus, sulfate 160, like that. So these values they are given in your NCERT, So in this question which we are doing, इसमें हमको refer करना है इस table पे, but in the exam these values will be given to you. Now we try to solve that numerical. See, calcium chloride की limiting molar conductivity. So we must know the limiting molar conductivity of the calcium and chloride. So see, limiting molar conductivity of the calcium chloride, that is equal to limiting molar conductivity of the calcium plus 2 ion plus 2 into limiting molar conductivity of chloride ion. And what are the values? Calcium की 119 plus 2 into chloride की 76.3, and when we solve it then we get 271.6 Siemens centimeter square per mole. So this is the value. Now magnesium sulfate also we can calculate. Mg plus 2 value 106 और सल्फेट की लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी 160. We just add this and we get the value of the limiting molar conductivity of magnesium sulfate. So I hope it is clear to you. If in the exam any strong electrolyte is given to you and it will be asked to you that you calculate the limiting molar conductivity of the solution of this compound, then what you have to do, you have to add the limiting molar conductivity of the individual ions present in the solution. और अगर उनको कोई नंबर है तो उस नंबर से उसको मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे. जैसे Al2 है तो 2 इंटू लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ Al प्लस 3 आयन, और सल्फेट में अगर 3 लगा है तो प्लस 3 इंटू लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ सल्फेट. सो लाइक दैट वी कैन कैलकुलेट. नाउ वी कम टू द अनदर पॉइंट, हाउ द मोलर कंडक्टिविटी चेंजेस इन केस ऑफ वीक इलेक्ट्रोलाइट ऑन डाइल्यूशन. हमने एक वीक इलेक्ट्रोलाइट लिया, उसका सोल्यूशन बनाया और उसके बाद में इट विल शो सम वैल्यू ऑफ द मोलर कंडक्टिविटी. फिर हम इसको डाइल्यूट करेंगे. ऑन डाइल्यूशन हाउ द मोलर कंडक्टिविटी चेंजेस, दैट यू सी. दिस इज द अनदर ग्राफ which I am showing you. This is based on this fact that how the value of the molar conductivity changes on dilution in case of weak electrolyte. And weak electrolyte I am taking as CH3COH, and that is acetic acid. Acetic acid is a weak electrolyte. When the acetic acid is dissolved in the water, it produces less ions in the solution. And since it produces less ion in the solution, so in the starting only it shows the least value of the molar conductivity. One side I am taking the molar conductivity, other side I am taking the square root of concentration. So this side we are increasing the concentration and this side we are decreasing the concentration. So at this point I am here, CH3COH I have dissolved in the water, then it shows the least value of the molar conductivity. अब हम क्या करेंगे, solution को dilute करेंगे. When we dilute the solution, तो ऐसे में क्या होता है, since it is weak electrolyte, so it ionizes very slowly. The number of ions which are produced, that is at the slowest rate. Slowly the number of ions have been formed, number of ions have been produced. और जैसे जैसे number of ions dissociate होते रहेंगे, इसकी जो molar conductivity की value है that slowly increases. और यहाँ से इसका जो ग्राफ है वो इस तरीके से आता है, ऐसे करके कर्व शेप में. And here it comes linear straight, and only a little difference we get from the initial value and to the final value. But here it starts from here and slowly it increases, and finally at the last when it reaches then 100% dissociation is not possible in case of weak electrolyte. Since it is a weak electrolyte, so on maximum dilution also it is not necessary for this electrolyte to dissociate 100%. और ऐसे में इनकी जो लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी है वो हम लोग डायरेक्ट मेथड से कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते. ये जो मेथड है स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट, इसमें जो मेथड हमने आपको बताया कि हाउ डू वी कैलकुलेट द लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी फॉर ए स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट जस्ट बाय एडिंग द इंडिविजुअल लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ ऑल द आयन प्रेजेंट इन द सोल्यूशन. ये हमारा कहलाता है डायरेक्ट मेथड. लेकिन जो वीक इलेक्ट्रोलाइट है इसकी हम लोग जो है लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी को डायरेक्ट मेथड से कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते. डायरेक्ट मीन्स जस्ट बाय एडिंग द इंडिविजुअल लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ ऑल द आयन, बिकॉज it is not necessary for the weak electrolyte to dissociate 100% on infinite dilution. और ऐसे में इनकी जो लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी है वो डायरेक्ट मेथड से कैलकुलेट नहीं होती है. देन व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी यूज एन इनडायरेक्ट मेथड, एंड दैट इज आल्सो टोल्ड बाय ए साइंटिस्ट, दैट इज Khalrush. तो Khalrush gave two ideas that how to calculate the limiting molar conductivity for the strong electrolyte and for the weak electrolyte. तो इसका थोड़ा सा लैंग्वेज देख लीजिए, जस्ट सी द लैंग्वेज. See what is written in the solution of weak electrolyte, the extent of dissociation is very small. जो dissociation की जो range है, dissociation की जो extent है वो बहुत छोटी होती है, धीरे धीरे dissociation होता है, and dilution helps in dissociation. Therefore, the value of the molar conductivity is expected to increase upon dilution. Here increase in the value of the molar conductivity is quite large. जो ग्राफ बनता है, जो difference आता है from the starting value to the final value, that is quite large. When the solution is very dilute, it is not possible to determine the limiting molar conductivity value for a weak electrolyte, because though the dissociation is complete, the concentration of ions per unit volume is so low that the conductivity cannot be measured accurately. ऐसे में हम लोग जो है वो लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी को एक्यूरेटली कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते. तो फिर कैसे करते हैं? दैट इज द इनडायरेक्ट मेथड, एंड दैट इज आल्सो टोल्ड बाय खलरूश. Then how it could be calculated? Just see. This is our next topic, and that is applications of Khulrush law. And what are the applications? The first application of Khulrush law is calculation of the molar conductivity at infinite dilution for weak electrolyte. And the method which we use here, that is called indirect method. The value of the limiting molar conductivity for weak electrolyte cannot be obtained directly by the extrapolation of the plot, जैसे हम लोग strong electrolyte में करते हैं, of the molar conductivity versus square root of concentration. But this can be easily calculated with the help of Khulrush law. The value of the limiting molar conductivity for acetic acid can be calculated from the knowledge of limiting molar conductivity of strong electrolyte like this and this, as follows. How do we calculate that? One more example is given in your NCERT. First I show you the example, and then I will explain you how to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of a solution containing weak electrolyte. देखिए, this was the question number 7 that I have explained you, that is for strong electrolyte. And another question, that is for weak electrolyte, how to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of a solution containing weak electrolyte. So see, limiting molar conductivity of three compounds here, NaCl, HCl and NaCl are this and this, and respectively calculate the limiting molar conductivity for HAC. And what is the meaning of HAC? H will remain as it is, और AC means एसिटिक एसिड का पार्ट होता है, इसमें CH3COO इसको कहते हैं AC, और उसके आगे H होता है तो ACH मीन्स एसिटिक एसिड. अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, AC मीन्स CH3COO और H तो ACH. So we need to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of HAC, that is acetic acid. This is the weak electrolyte. Whenever we need to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of the solution containing weak electrolyte, तो ऐसे में आपको 3 अननोन दूसरे कंपाउंड्स की लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी गिवन होगी, और उसकी हेल्प से हमको निकालना है, कैलकुलेट करना है लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ वीक इलेक्ट्रोलाइट. जैसे पूछा है इसमें HAC यानी कि एसिटिक एसिड, और गिवन क्या है 3 मोर कंपाउंड. वन इज NaCl स्ट्रॉन्ग कंपाउंड, HCl स्ट्रॉन्ग कंपाउंड, NaC स्ट्रॉन्ग कंपाउंड. तो NaCl की लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी 126.4, HCl की लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी 425.9 और NaAC की लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी 91.0. By taking the help of these 3 compound, we will try to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of this compound. So how that we see. See, now we learn how to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of a weak electrolyte. So see, this is the weak electrolyte, limiting molar conductivity of ACH, acetic acid, and we need to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of this solution. तो हम लोग स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट की कैसे कैलकुलेट करते थे? हम लोग लेंगे लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ एसीटेट आयन, दैट इज AC माइनस, और प्लस लिमिटिंग मोलर कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ H प्लस. ये हमारा कहलाता था डायरेक्ट मेथड विच वी वर यूजिंग इन केस ऑफ स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट. लेकिन वीक इलेक्ट्रोलाइट में थोड़ा सा लिटिल आइडिया चेंज. व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी विल टेक हेल्प ऑफ these 3 strong electrolyte and their values to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of this solution. और इसमें सबसे पहले हम लोग क्या करेंगे, इसमें 1 ion is acetate and 1 ion is H+. The three compounds which are given here, you just underline these two ions which are present in these three compounds. Let's say one is acetate, so you underline this acetate. This is the acetate. One is H plus, then you underline this H plus. So this acetate and H plus both are mentioned here. Now in these three compound, what are the ions which are left? That is one time Na, second time Na, one time Cl and second time Cl. Yani two times sodium and two time chloride. So in this values which I have mentioned here, in this final values, one time we will add the limiting molar conductivity of the Na plus ion, and one time we will subtract the limiting molar conductivity of Na plus ion. So whatever we have added, we have subtracted. Now one time we will add the limiting molar conductivity of the Cl minus ion, and one time we will subtract the limiting molar conductivity of chloride ion. It means one time the limiting molar conductivity of the Na plus ion that we add, one time we subtract. One time the limiting molar conductivity of the Cl minus we add, and one time we subtract. And now you have the 6 ions here. Ac minus, H plus, Na plus 2 times, Cl minus 2 times. One time in the addition, one time in the subtraction. By using these 6 ions, we will try to make these 3 compound. Let's say, for example, this Ac, limiting molar conductivity of the Ac minus and limiting molar conductivity of the Na plus. These both we add together. Then we get limiting molar conductivity of the ACNA. This is AC and this is Na. This is the plus form, this is the plus form. Both the values we add ACNA. Then plus the limiting molar conductivity of this H plus in positive and this chloride in positive. These also both the values we add. So we write plus limiting molar conductivity of the HCl. Now this is over and these two are over. Now what is left? Minus Na plus or minus Cl minus. So one time we write minus here, and we can show this way: minus limiting molar conductivity of Na plus or minus limiting molar conductivity of Cl minus. This way. If we keep this in the bracket, that inside that will be plus. And when we will add both the values this, so we will get only one value, Na plus or Cl minus together. Then we get limiting molar conductivity of NaCl. So all the 3 compounds we have formed. So you see NaAC, HCl, NaCl. One compound I have formed ACNA. This is this ACNA. One compound is HCl that we have made. This is the second compound, and the third compound NaCl, that also we have made this NaCl. Now what is the value of this ACNA? This, that is 91, plus what is the value of HCl? That is 425.9, minus what is the value of NaCl? That is 126.4. Now we solve it. We will get the value 390.5 SCM square per mole. This value which we have got here, that is the limiting molar conductivity of a solution containing weak electrolyte. And which one weak electrolyte? This ACH, acetic acid. So whenever it is asked to you to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of a weak electrolyte, so this method we use, and that is called indirect method. In the exam, how you will get an idea if the compound is given, whether it is strong electrolyte or weak electrolyte. So if in the exam the question is given, and with the question the limiting molar conductivity of the ions are given, it means understood the compound that will be the strong electrolyte, because we need the limiting molar conductivity of the individual ions. But if the compound is given like that with the compound some other ionic compounds, their limiting molar conductivities will be given to you, like this NaCl, HCl, NaC. If these values are given, then understood the compound which is asked, that will be the weak electrolyte. So this is the first application of Holzhauer law. Now the second application. तो फर्स्ट एप्लीकेशन ऑफ Kohlrausch law is to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolyte, and the second application is determination of the degree of dissociation of electrolyte. Once we calculate the limiting molar conductivity of either strong electrolyte or weak electrolyte, with the help of that we can calculate alpha. And what is alpha? That is degree of dissociation. How much the strong electrolyte or weak electrolyte that dissociate, that is called degree of dissociation, maybe 30%, 40%, like that. So that alpha, that is equal to molar conductivity at any concentration upon molar conductivity at infinite dilution. Infinite dilution से पहले कोई भी कंसंट्रेशन होता है उसको हम लोग कहते हैं मोलर कंडक्टिविटी एट एनी कंसंट्रेशन, और दिस इज मोलर कंडक्टिविटी एट इनफाइनाइट डाइल्यूशन. सो विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस रेशियो वी कैन कैलकुलेट द डिग्री ऑफ dissociation. So this is the second application of Kohlrausch law. There is one mark question: the relationship between the molar conductivity at any concentration and molar conductivity at infinite dilution. One relationship, this is given by scientist Debye-Huckel, and this is called Debye-Huckel relationship. And the relationship is molar conductivity at any concentration is equal to molar conductivity at infinite dilution minus B square root of concentration. Square root of concentration, that you know very well. This is limiting molar conductivity, this is molar conductivity at any concentration, and the B is called constant. And this value of the B, that depends upon the type of solution, that varies as according to the solution. No numerical related with this, that is in your syllabus. Only just one mark question: what is Debye-Huckel relationship? So remember, lambda m at any concentration is equal to lambda m at infinite dilution minus B square root of concentration. Now we will study the next topic, and that is Faraday's first law. In this, what we are going to study, imagine a cell, and in this cell we are adjusting two electrodes. One electrode we connect with the negative terminal of the battery, another electrode we connect with the positive terminal of the battery. And in this I am taking the molten NaCl. Molten NaCl means that dissociate into Na plus and Cl minus ion. Now we pass the electric current. When we pass electric current, there is a rule of electrochemistry. The cation start moving towards cathode and anion start moving towards anode. This is the cation that move towards cathode. This is the anion move towards anode. And a process occurs at cathode and anode. What are the reactions which occur at cathode and anode? Let us see. At cathode, each Na plus ion will move towards cathode. It will gain one electron, and after gaining one electron, it converts into sodium atom or sodium metal. And since it is the gaining of the electron, that is called reduction. At cathode, always reduction takes place. Why this cation move towards cathode? Because it is connected with the negative terminal of the battery, और negative terminal का जो electrode होता है, always there is a efficiency of the electron. यहाँ पर electron बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं, तो Na plus ion it will move towards this electrode. यहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा electron है, it will gain one electron and converts into the sodium atom or sodium metal. Once it converts into sodium metal, it gets deposited at this cathode. धीरे धीरे जितने भी Na plus ion है which are present in this vessel or container, slowly they will move towards cathode and all they get deposited at this electrode. यहाँ पर कितना सोडियम डिपॉजिट होगा, that depends upon the quantity of the charge which is passed. And Faraday told this W means mass deposited at this electrode, that is directly proportional to Q, and Q is called charge, and Q is equal to IT. So we write here W is directly proportional to I into T, and whenever we remove this directly proportional, we put a constant, and that is Z. So we write here W is equal to Z into I into T. यहाँ पर W आपका mass deposited, I आपका current, T is the time, और Z is called electrochemical equivalent. Value of the Z, that is equal to equivalent mass upon 96,500. This is the value of Z. Z is equal to equivalent mass upon 96,500. And what is the equivalent mass? Since we are discussing about the element, तो एलिमेंट का जो इक्विवेलेंट मास निकालने का फॉर्मूला है, the equivalent mass of the element that is equal to atomic mass upon its valency. जैसे हमको सोडियम का इक्विवेलेंट मास निकालना है, तो सोडियम का इक्विवेलेंट मास of Na sodium that is equal to atomic mass upon its valency, and its valency is 1. So an atomic mass is 23 upon 1, that is equal to 23. तो सोडियम के केस में इसका जो एटॉमिक मास और इसका जो इक्विवेलेंट मास है दैट इज सेम, बट इट इज नॉट सेम ऑलवेज. जैसे इफ वी डिस्कस अबाउट मैग्नीशियम, तो मैग्नीशियम का एटॉमिक मास 24 और मैग्नीशियम की जो वैलेंसी है दैट इज 2. देन व्हाट डू वी गेट हियर? वी गेट 12. तो 12 इज कॉल्ड इक्विवेलेंट मास, 24 is called atomic mass. So whenever we need to calculate the equivalent mass of element that is equal to atomic mass upon its valency, तो जो एटॉमिक इक्विवेलेंट मास है इसको हम लोग फिर इक्वेट करेंगे, दैट इज इक्वल टू एटॉमिक मास अपॉन वैलेंसी, और वैलेंसी को हम लोग लिखेंगे n इंटू 96,500. तो ओवरऑल फार्मूला यू विल गेट Z is equal to atomic mass upon n into 96,500. This is equal to Z, and this value of Z you put in the main formula. Then what you will get? Now I am just deleting this. See the final formula, W is equal to Z, and Z is this, atomic mass upon n into 96,500, this is Z, and into I into T. This is the final formula. On the basis of this we can calculate the mass deposited in any cell where the electric current is passed. Now see the second law of Faraday's second law. What this law says, if the two cell they are connected to each other and if the electric current is passed into this, so some amount of the metal that will deposit at this electrode and some amount of the metal which is present in this vessel that will be deposited at this electrode. So the first element है, the mass of this, that is directly proportional to the equivalent mass of the first element, और जो M2 है that is directly proportional to the equivalent mass of the second element. तो M1 is directly proportional to E1, M2 is directly proportional to E2. We put a constant, M1 is equal to KE1, M2 is equal to KE2, KK cancel, then we get M1 upon M2 is equal to E1 upon E2. There is no numerical is given related with the Faraday's second law, but 3-4 numericals are given in your syllabus related with the first law of Faraday. So remember both the laws and the first law of Faraday, that is very important. 3-4 numericals are given in your exercise and in text. Now we see the new topic of the chapter, and that is quantitative aspects of electrolysis. What we are going to study in this, just now we have studied Faraday's law, and in that I have explained you, suppose I take this type of cell and in this I adjust the two electrode. One electrode I connect with the negative terminal of the battery, and another electrode we connect with the positive terminal of the battery, and both the electrodes I dip in the molten NaCl. Molten NaCl means NaCl breaks into Na plus and Cl minus. Now we pass the electric current. When we pass the electric current, so as according to the rule which I have told you, the cation move towards cathode and the anion move towards anode. So at cathode, which reaction takes place? Each Na plus ion that move towards the cathode, it gains one electron and converts into sodium atom or sodium metal. If I ask you, when this Na plus ion move towards cathode and it gains one electron, then how much charge it acquires? So it acquires the charge equal to the charge of the electron. And what is the charge of the electron? That is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb of negative charge. So I write here 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb of negative charge. It means if one Na plus ion that gets deposited at the cathode, it acquires the charge equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb of negative charge. And after acquiring this charge, one atom of sodium gets deposited at the cathode. Now another case. Now I take Na plus ion. Now this time I take 1 mole of Na plus ion. And 1 mole of Na plus ion, it means it is equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 ions. Now I am not taking one ion. I am taking the number of ions equal to 6.022 10 to the power 23, and this group of ion as a whole is called 1 mole. And if 1 mole of the ion they move toward the cathode, how much charge they will acquire? They will acquire 1 mole of electron, not the 1 electron. When 1 Na plus ion move, then it gains 1 electron. Now 1 mole of electron they move towards the cathode, then they gain 1 mole of electron. And how much is the charge of the 1 mole of the electron? That is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 multiplied by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb of negative charge. This is the charge of the 1 electron, and these are the number of electrons. When we multiply this, then we get equal to 96487 and almost equal to 96,500. This 96,500 is also written in coulomb, and we write coulomb per mole. And this 96,500 coulomb per mole, that is equal to 1 Faraday. It means if 1 mole of Na plus ion will move towards the cathode, so either we say this, it gains this much amount of the charge, 96,500 coulomb of charge per mole, or it is equal to 1 Faraday. So in a very simple way, we can say 1 mole of Na plus ion plus 1 Faraday equal to 1 mole of sodium. So again I am writing the another equation form. See, now I have written 1 mole of Na plus ion moving towards cathode, gain 1 mole of electron equal to charge, that is 6,500 coulomb or 1 Faraday. And when this much amount of the charge it is gained by the 1 mole of Na plus ion, then the sodium which will be deposited at the cathode, that will be equal to 1 mole. And can you think what will be the mass of the sodium that will be deposited at the cathode? If it is deposited 1 mole, you know very well, 1 mole of any element, that is equal to the mass of that element equal to its atomic mass. तो अगर यहाँ पर सोडियम 1 मोल डिपॉजिट हुआ है, तो इसका मतलब that is equal to 23 ग्राम. Whenever 1 mole of any element gets deposited at the cathode, उसका जो mass है that is equal to its atomic mass. तो यहाँ पर 23 ग्राम of sodium will deposited at the cathode. अब और simplify करके इसको लिखते हैं, and we will write 1 Na plus ion that is equal to 1 mole plus 1 Faraday give rise to sodium, and that is equal to 23 ग्राम. 1 मोल Na प्लस आयन को डिपॉजिट होने के लिए कैथोड पर 1 फैराडे चार्ज चाहिए, और 1 फैराडे चार्ज के बाद जो सोडियम डिपॉजिट होगा दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 23 ग्राम. नाउ इफ द कैल्शियम प्लस 2 ion they move towards the cathode, so 1 calcium plus 2 ion will gain how many electron? 2 electron. If 1 mole of calcium plus ion move towards the cathode, then how much charge it will acquire? 2 mole of electron. 1 calcium plus 2 ion gains 2 electron. 1 mole of calcium plus 2 ion, 1 mole means 6.02 to 10^23 ion. It will gain how much charge? It will acquire how much charge? That is 2 mole of electron. So it will be equal to 2 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 multiplied by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb of negative charge. And when you will calculate all, this is equal to 1 Faraday. Then how many Faraday? That will be equal to 2 Faraday. And when 1 mole of calcium plus 2 will gain this charge, that is equal to 2 Faraday, then 1 mole of calcium will be deposited. And what will be the mass of this calcium? That is equal to 40 gram, because the atomic mass of the calcium is 40. So when 1 mole of calcium will be deposited, then it is equal to 40 gram. So 1 Na plus 1 Faraday equal to 23 gram of sodium, 1 mole of calcium plus 2 ion plus 2 Faraday plus 2 Faraday, that is equal to 40 gram of calcium. Now in a very simple form, we can write like this: 1 mole of Na plus ion plus 1 Faraday equal to 1 mole of sodium metal, mass equal to 23 gram. 1 mole of calcium plus 2 ion acquires the charge 2 Faraday equal to 1 mole of calcium. The mass of this calcium will be equal to 40 gram. 1 mole of aluminium plus 3 ion, it needs 3 Faraday. Plus 1 charge 1 Faraday, plus 2 charge 2 Faraday, plus 3 charge 3 Faraday. Since it needs 3 Faraday charge, then is equal to 1 mole of aluminium metal, and its mass, that is equal to atomic mass, and that is 27 gram. So this is called quantitative aspects of electrolysis. How much mass of the metal will be deposited at the cathode after gaining how much charge. Now the same type of procedure that occurs at the anode. So I have taken here Na plus and Cl minus ion. So Na plus I have explained you. Now in the Cl minus ion that goes towards anode, so what it will do, it will lose the electron. At cathode always gaining the electron, at anode always losing the electron. यहाँ पर चार्ज गेन हो रहा है, यहाँ पर चार्ज लूज होगा, एनोड पर चार्ज लूज होगा. सो व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन द क्लोराइड आयन दे मूव टुवर्ड्स एनोड. Now what happens about the chloride ion? Since it is a non-metal, so the 2 chloride ion they move towards anode. This is the anodic reaction at anode. So 2 chloride ion they move towards anode and they lose the charge. Charge transfer होता है, कैथोड पर चार्ज गेन होता है, एनोड पर चार्ज लूज होता है. इसका चार्ज ट्रांसफर. तो यहाँ पर जो चार्ज ट्रांसफर होगा that is 2 Faraday. And when 2 chloride ion will lose 2 Faraday of charge, then they will neutralize and they will form 1 molecule of chlorine. So and इसका जो mass होगा that will be equal to 35.5 multiplied by 2, and that is 71 gram. So finally we can say, and we can make a formula, charge Q on n mole of electron. Let's say 1 mole of electron, how much equal to how much charge? 1 Faraday. 2 mole of electron, charge equal to 2 Faraday. 3 mole of electron, charge equal to 3 Faraday. So we can make a formula, charge Q on n mole of electron, that is equal to n Faraday. It means NF, maybe 1F, 2F or 3F. So this is overall the quantitative aspects of electrolysis. अब इसके बाद में जो हम लोग नेक्स्ट टॉपिक पढ़ने जा रहे हैं, दैट इज इलेक्ट्रोलिटिक सेल. एंड इलेक्ट्रोलिटिक सेल का जो बेस्ट एग्जांपल है दैट इज रिफाइनिंग ऑफ कॉपर, which you have studied in the class 10. Again I am reminding you, which I have told you in the previous videos, electrolytic cells are the type of cells in which we pass electric current and we carry out some chemical changes. Refining of copper में we are passing the electric current and we are carrying out some chemical changes. So first we will try to understand the refining of copper metal. So whatever we will study in the refining of copper metal, the same example we can write in the electrolytic cell. The best example of electrolytic cell is refining of copper metal. So whatever I am going to explain you, that you keep in the mind, that is the example of electrolytic cell. So what we will do, we will try to understand with the help of this diagram. तो हम क्या करेंगे, जो कॉपर मेटल विच इज नीडेड टू बी प्योरीफाइड, उसका एक रॉड बना लेंगे और उस रॉड को हम लोग एक बैटरी के पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल से कनेक्ट करेंगे, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड इम्प्योर कॉपर एज एनोड. सो सिंस वी आर कनेक्टिंग विद द positive terminal of the battery. So this is called anode, and this is the impure copper, and we make it electrode. This electrodes are those metals in which we pass the electric current. So here we are passing the electric current, and this is anode. Now one more electrode we take, which is 100% pure copper metal, and that we make another electrode, and that we connect with the negative terminal of the battery. So this is the another electrode, and this we connect with the negative terminal of the battery. So this is called pure copper as cathode, and this is impure copper as anode. This is 100% pure copper, and this is the impure copper which is needed to be purified. And both these electrode we just dip in the same metal salt solution. Like if we are using copper, then we take the copper sulfate as an electrolyte. तो जो मेटल होता है उसी मेटल का साल्ट सोल्यूशन, तो कॉपर का साल्ट होता है कॉपर सल्फेट. सो वी टेक दिस कॉपर सल्फेट हियर. सो टू इलेक्ट्रोड्स, बोथ द इलेक्ट्रोड्स आर मेड बाय कॉपर. बोथ द कॉपर इलेक्ट्रोड वी डिप इनटू द कॉपर सल्फेट solution. Both the electrode we connect with the two terminal of the battery, one with the negative terminal, one with the positive terminal. Negative one is called cathode and positive one is called anode. Now what happens? We pass the electric current, and when we pass the electric current, some chemical reaction they occur in this vessel. What type of chemical reaction they occur? See, in the solution what we are taking copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate chemical formula is CuSO4, and when it dissolves in the water, it breaks into Cu plus 2 or plus SO4 minus 2. It means copper plus 2 ion or SO4 minus 2 ion. So those copper plus 2 ion which are present in the solution, they start moving towards this cathode, because just now I told you the cation move towards cathode. Copper contains plus 2 charge, so this is the cation, and it start moving towards the cathode. For what? To get discharge. Each copper plus 2 ion that move toward the cathode. Cathode contains a negative charge, and negative charge means that is the efficiency of the electron. Electron यहाँ पर ज़्यादा होते हैं, तो ये copper plus 2 क्या करता है? That move toward the cathode, gains 2 electron and gets reduced, and we can see the reaction. At cathode, which reaction takes place? Those copper plus 2 ion which are present in the solution, they start moving toward the cathode, gains 2 electron and convert into the copper metal, and this process is called reduction, because this is a gaining of the electron. So these copper plus 2 ion which are present in the solution, they move towards cathode, and after gaining the electron they get reduced, और जैसे ही reduce होते हैं they get deposited at this electrode. इसकी surface के ऊपर चिपक जाते हैं. So as and when more and more copper plus 2 ion they move toward the cathode, the equivalent amount of copper which is present at this electrode they get oxidized. Oxidized का मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉन को रिमूव करके कॉपर प्लस 2 में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है. तो दैट कॉपर विच इज प्रेजेंट हेयर दैट कन्वर्ट्स इनटू कॉपर प्लस 2, एंड ये हमारे कहलाता है एनोड. और एनोड की जो रिएक्शन है वो देखिए, दिस इज द रिएक्शन एट एनोड. एनोड पर दैट इम्प्योर कॉपर विच इज प्रेजेंट, हर एक कॉपर एटम दैट लूजेस 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन एंड कन्वर्ट्स इनटू कॉपर प्लस 2 आयन. So this is the cathodic reaction, copper plus 2 ion which are present in the solution that move toward the cathode, gains 2 electron and converts into the copper metal. And that copper which is present at anode, यानी कि impure copper, that each atom loses 2 electron and that convert into copper plus 2 ion. तो फाइनली क्या होता है, एक चेन प्रोसेस स्टार्ट्स, और उस चेन प्रोसेस में so as we continue passing the electric current, each copper that converts into copper plus 2 ion and that copper plus 2 ion move toward the cathode and gains 2 electron. यहाँ का कॉपर यहाँ पे आएगा after losing 2 electron and that is called oxidation. That copper plus 2 ion which is present here that move toward the cathode gains 2 electron and that is called reduction. एक फ्लो चार्ट से समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. देखिए, this is the flow chart. This side anode, impure copper, this side cathode, pure copper. This is negative charge, this is positive charge. ठीक? When the chain process starts, each copper atom that is present in the impure metal that loses 2 electron and that process is called oxidation, and this copper converts into copper plus 2 ion. This copper plus 2 ion does not stay in the solution because the electric current is continuously passed. So this copper plus 2 ion start moving towards the cathode and gains 2 electron, and that process is called reduction. And after gaining that electron, this copper metal gets reduced and deposited at the cathode. और अगर काफी देर तक इस प्रोसेस को कंटिन्यू किया जाए तो सारा का सारा कॉपर मेटल, ऑल द कॉपर मेटल which is present here, that slowly that gets deposited at the cathode. एक single atom, all the atoms of copper which are present here, slowly they get deposited here at the cathode. And afterward, this cathode electrode, we take out this from here, and that is already it was 100% pure copper metal. Now it contains the more amount of copper on this, and when we take out this, then it is fully 100% pure copper. And this continuously slowly disintegrate. Disintegrate मतलब धीरे धीरे गल जाता है, कॉपर खत्म हो जाता है, और जो impurities होती हैं they fell down at the bottom. And since it is falling down at the bottom, so it is bottom of the anode, so it is called anode mud. So you have written here impurities as anode mud. I hope you have understood the refining of copper, and since I have told you this is the best example of electrolytic cell, because we are passing the electric current in this and we are carrying out the chemical changes. Here negative is called cathode and the positive is called anode. So I hope all the things which I have explained you in this session, they are clear to you. In the next session, the very important topic I will explain you, and that is electrochemical cell. Okay, thank you.